give it a minute for people to jump on. All right. We don't have anybody watching yet, so I might as well wait.
Yeah.
And see if anybody jumps in here. He's got us on. We're on Miami's page and the Virginia Tech one because the Notre Dame guys are on the main page. So.
White choke.
Hmm?
White choke.
Bad.
You're up 8 with 4 minutes left. You gotta close that out.
Yeah. Yeah. That's tough. Yeah, that's.
I mean, when you're at the 2 and you kick a field goal, it's like, all right, well.
Yeah. It's
you get what you deserve.
Nothing. You can't really. All right. Well, we do this thing.
Yeah.
Paul Van Wagner, Mike McDaniel. It's the Hokie Postgame show here on the Voice of College Football. Shout out to Mark for putting us on. We're on the Miami channel today and the Virginia Tech one. So for those of you that
bye week.
Yeah. So for those of you that are Canes fans that are like, what the heck's going on? Hey, blame Mark. You get a little Hokie coverage. So it was a tough night for Virginia Tech, Mike. I don't know. You know, I go back and forth. What's worse? A loss like tonight where you're leading with 4 minutes left in the game and all you got to do is put it away.
Yep.
Or go back 3 seasons ago when you just get absolutely run out of your own stadium by Duke. And I don't know. I don't really know what the answer is, but either way, this one stinks.
Context matters, right?
Yeah.
And there's no question that Justin Fuente coming into the year was on the hot seat. And this was a really important game from the standpoint of, like, if you contextualize his tenure at Virginia Tech, he has not consistently won these big games. Right. So, from that standpoint, this was a game he had to have. And, I mean, coming into this, I wouldn't have said this was a must-win for Virginia Tech because it's a non-conference game ultimately.
Right.
You know, I think Notre Dame, this is a down year for the Irish, but I think they're like an 8-4, 9-3 type team.
Sure.
But I mean, if you just kind of take a step back and look at like the 10,000-foot view, you know, this is a rebuilding year for Notre Dame. Right. And Virginia Tech, this is a pretty big game for them.
Yep.
And Tech's in year 6 under Justin Fuente, and this is a game they absolutely had to have. And for Notre Dame, it's like, you know, if we lose, we lose. But this is a rebuilding year anyway.
Yeah.
And that tells you everything you need to know about the state of the Virginia Tech football program right now from a trajectory standpoint.
I tweeted out, and it's funny that you brought that up. I don't know if you saw my tweet or not, but during the game I tweeted out 6 years ago we were told that this was going to be revolutionary. New offense in Blacksburg. This is what everyone is doing. This is and what are we known for now? Jet sweep to the boundary.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the game tonight, and this was kind of a microcosm. I mentioned this in the pregame show, right? Yeah. I mentioned this, like, if Virginia Tech wanted to get to where they needed to be offensively, it required taking the training wheels off Braxton Burmeister.
Right.
And not that they don't trust Burmeister, but it was more of like a management thing where
don't baby him.
Don't baby him.
Don't baby him.
You also know that if he gets hurt, you're in a lot of trouble.
Yep.
And we saw that tonight, right? He gets hurt in the fourth quarter. You know, his arm goes numb. He mentioned that in the post game.
Yep.
And we see an extended sequence of Connor Blumrick, which, I mean, the Knox Kadum thing. Right?
Yep.
They're talking about Knox Kadum being the guy that is the true backup quarterback. I mean, Burmeister's out of the game.
Right.
Where was Kadum?
Yeah, I don't know. And you know, to me, you look at Blumrick, right? Blumrick, nothing against him. I don't know the kid. I've never talked to the kid.
Right.
But when he's in there, it feels like it's Wildcat football.
Well,
right?
I mean,
so let's just run the Wildcat. Like if that's what he brings to the table, let's run that. Like let's just don't disguise it. Just this is the package for him. We're gonna run the Wildcat with him in there, and let's see what happens. I don't know. I mean, it is a frustrating situation.
It is.
Right
I
now.
mean, Blumrick wasn't playing quarterback at A&M, right? He transferred for the opportunity to play quarterback, and he got that opportunity tonight. And we saw him in the fourth quarter in extended time. Really, the most we've seen him with like full operation of the offense, and they were afraid to throw the ball with him. And that tells you everything you need to know.
And the funny thing is his numbers weren't awful, 2 for 4, but I mean he only had 3 yards, you know. So I mean they're not pushing the ball down the field with him. And I mean, I don't know the ins and outs and the inside and what all happened, but you look at the day Quincy Patterson had, you look at the day that Hendon Hooker had,
Yep.
now playing with different programs,
Yep.
and then you look at the day that Virginia Tech had as far as quarterbacks are concerned, and you kind of have to shake your head and go, what in the world,
Yeah. I mean, this was the concern, right? And, if you were going to let Burmeister run the ball a bit more and he was going to get out in the open field and get himself hurt, what were you going to have at backup quarterback?
Yep.
And again, like, I get it from Cornelson's standpoint. Everybody wants to, everybody's so quick to criticize Cornelson. The way I look at it is, okay, well, if Burmeister gets hurt, like, we have to be realistic about what we have
right
from a depth standpoint, the backup quarterback position. And I mean, I don't think Virginia Tech is too confident that, if Burmeister gets hurt, we can have a guy step in and just replace him, and the offense not necessarily run seamless, but the offense can be serviceable.
Yeah.
And we saw tonight that the offense cannot be serviceable without Burmeister, which is something that we knew coming into the year, and was just, it manifests itself in a big game at home.
Reinforced the fact that what we thought to be true was actually true.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the issue that was
huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
I mean, moving forward, we'll have to see what happens. Braxton talked about how they're turning the page, they're ready to go. I mentioned to him the beauty of the two losses, if there is a silver lining, is neither of these are in conference, right? So,
right.
I mean, you look at the rest of the conference, especially in the Coastal, everybody else except for Pitt has a loss right now. So you kind of come into that Coastal with a clean slate, for lack of a better term.
Right.
So, I mean, you got to make the most of it now, though, moving forward. And you got Pitt this week, who is coming off a bye.
Yeah, I mean, the Pitt game's going to be tough.
Yeah.
I mean, Pitt lost to Western Michigan a couple weeks ago, and Pitt was kind of like, they were the ACC team you could point to and laugh at, but they're coming to Lane Stadium, and Justin Fuente, to his credit, has never lost to Pat Narduzzi in Pittsburgh in Lane.
Right.
So it's a huge game next Saturday.
Yeah.
And it was going to be a big game anyway. It's an even bigger game now
Yeah.
that you lose to ND.
Right.
I was going to say all along that the Pittsburgh game was a must-win game for Justin Fuente.
I agree.
And
I agree.
I didn't think this was a must-win. Now, the way that Tech lost hurts.
Yeah.
Right? It hurts a lot. But this was never a must-win. Pittsburgh, because it's a conference game, is a must-win.
Right.
And I think the coaching staff and the players, they have the right mindset. Like this, all their goals are still in front of them, but it's hard to look at this and not look at it and say, you know what, an opportunity slipped away here.
Both of the losses, really. I mean,
for sure.
I mean, we talked about this during the pregame show that West Virginia loss was. I mean, you're talking about 2 or 3 plays, and that's a completely different thing. Now, this one, it's just you're so close, and just you got to get over that hump.
I mean, Virginia Tech's. I mean, the Hokies are within a touchdown to being 5-0.
Yeah.
And I mean, you look at it was red zone play calling in the West Virginia game, and then, I mean, you could even make the argument tonight that Virginia Tech, Hokies are up 7-0, and they have an opportunity deep in Notre Dame territory, and the play calling wasn't very good.
Right.
And then they settle for a field goal on the 2-yard line.
Right.
So it's 10-0, and great. Romo makes a field goal. John Parker Romo, to his credit, I mean, he's been an easy guy to point to and point blame to.
Right.
He was very good tonight.
Very good today.
Very good.
Very good today.
Very good.
Did exactly what was asked of him.
Yeah.
Let's jump real quick here to the defensive side of things. Obviously, you lose Dax. That's a huge loss. We all sat in here. Justin said he didn't have a chance to see the play because he was in the middle of something else.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, that was not targeting.
Yeah,
I don't know what they were looking at, what they were looking for, but that was not targeting.
No, it was a bad call. It was pretty easy. You look at the replay, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, all right, well, this will get overturned for sure.
Right.
And the fact that they didn't even say, play scans, they say play is confirmed.
Right.
And I mean, that was
how quick it happened.
And how quick it happened too, right?
It just, it was like they were looking for something and they found it. Somebody said that out here today. They were looking for something and they found it, and boom, they were done. That was
surprising.
It was just that quick. So
it was very surprising. So I mean, Dax will now miss the first half of the Pitt game, which honestly is pretty significant.
Big.
I mean, it's a big loss.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Dean Ferguson came in, he played fine, but I mean, that's Dax Dax has caught a lot of crap,
Mhm.
right? The last few years because he's not necessarily played in his position because
Right.
Ashby was playing Mike,
Right.
and Dax, he was kind of up and down tonight, but overall he's been pretty good this year. That's gonna be a pretty big loss
Yeah.
going into pick him.
Well, and Dax is the motor guy, right? Like even when Dax
vocal
is
leader.
having, right,
Vocal leader
right,
of the
yeah,
defense, too.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so even when Dax is having a down game, or let's call it an average game, right, where Dax isn't a standout player,
Yep.
he is still the guy that the whole defense kind of circles the wagon around because he's
Yeah.
the guy, like you say, vocal leader.
Yeah.
He's the motor guy. He's the one that's going to keep you up. When Taiwan said that when he was
mentioned
standing
it
right
in the
here,
postgame.
yeah.
Yeah.
He said
you
he's the
lose a
dude.
leader.
Yeah, he's the dude that leads
Yep.
us. So that is going to be a huge loss. Someone else is going to have to step up
Yep.
and be that guy, at least for a half on Saturday next week when they have Pitt here in town. So we'll have a full pregame show for you. Not a whole lot else to talk about here, but we'll have a full pregame show for you next week from Hokie House. What time? Kickoff at 3:30.
3:30.
So we'll be there from noon to 1.
Yep.
Noon to 1 at Hokie House. So you can join us here on the Voice of College Football. We'll also have post game right back here inside the Merriman Center from Virginia Tech. So we'll talk to you all next week. You take care of yourselves. Thanks to our Miami friends for letting us be on here. We appreciate you letting us take over your channel. And we're looking forward to playing Miami too, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, that seems like a win on
Well,
the Virginia Tech schedule, right?
It seems like a win, but
It's a winnable game.
Yeah,
It's a winnable game.
Miami.
Yeah.
Here's the problem with Miami, right? And real quick, I'll wax a little poetic here. You look at Miami, the last couple of games down at Hard Rock Stadium, man, there were more people in this media center right now, and there's 4 of us, than there were in Hard Rock, right? But Virginia Tech shows up, and for whatever reason, they don't care. It doesn't matter if Pitbull's playing next door, a free concert. Like they show up for the Virginia Tech game. So the Miami people are going to bring the juice for that game. So we're definitely looking forward to that.
They got to. I mean, Manny Diaz might not even be the coach now. We'll see.
Possible. I'm Paul Van Wagner. He's Mike McDaniel. Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you.